So the festive season is right around the corner in Switzerland, and I'm sure many of us are already dreaming about that time off, right? Seeing family, maybe just getting some much-needed rest. But here's the thought. What if a lot of our holiday plans are built on things we think are rules, but actually aren't? Let's untangle this puzzle and see what's fact and what's fiction when it comes to the law.
Okay, let's just cut to the chase and ask the big question. Do you really have to work over Christmas? Now, you might think the answer is obvious, but trust me, it's a whole lot more complicated than a simple yes or no.
For years, we've all just kind of gone with the flow, operating on tradition and what feels like common sense. But here's the thing, tradition and the law are not always the same. So today, we're going to dig in and find out what Swiss labor law actually has to say about your time during the Christmas holidays. Now get ready for this, because this is a real head-scratcher. When we look at the official, federally mandated public holidays in Switzerland, how many do you think there are? Take a guess. It's just one. That's it. The only holiday that's set by federal law for the entire country is August 1st. Crazy, right?
And right here, this is the reason for pretty much all the confusion. Every other public holiday we know and love, from Easter to, yes, Christmas, is decided at the cantonal level. Each canton gets to pick up to 8 additional days. That's exactly why your friend in Geneva might be working when you, over in Zurich, have the day off.
So let's break this down and see how this whole cantonal system really works during the Christmas season. We're going to go day by day to bust some of the biggest myths, starting with Christmas Eve.
Come on, we've all been there, haven't we? Staring at the clock on December 24th, just waiting for the boss to give that nod so we can all sneak out early. We all believe we're entitled to at least a half day. But what's the legal reality? Well, surprise, December 24th is just a completely normal workday with regular hours.
And this is so important to remember. If your boss does let you head home at 4 p.m., that's purely an act of goodwill, what they call coulance. It is absolutely not a legal right. A lot of the time, companies will gift you this time, so you still get paid for a full day, but it's totally up to your employer or whatever is written in your contract.
All right, so what about the main event itself, Christmas Day? That has to be a national holiday, right? Well, nope. Technically, it's not a federal holiday. But here's the twist. Every single canton in Switzerland agrees on this one. They all designate December 25th as an official public holiday, and they treat it exactly like a Sunday. And what does treating it like a Sunday actually mean for you and me? It means there's a general ban on work. So for most of us, it's a guaranteed day off. Now, of course, there are exceptions for essential jobs like in hospitals or restaurants, but for the vast majority, you're not supposed to be working.
Okay, next up is December 26th, St. Stephen's Day. And this is where you really see that cantonal patchwork we talked about. In most of the German-speaking cantons, it's a public holiday, but you hop over to many of the French-speaking cantons, and it's just a regular old Tuesday or Wednesday. Back to work!
So this mix-and-match system of holidays often creates those awkward single workdays that are kind of sandwiched between a holiday and a weekend, which brings us to the very tricky topic of Brückentag, or as we call them, bridge days.
So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, what exactly is a Brückentag? Well, it's that one tempting workday stuck right between a public holiday and the weekend. You know the one, that Friday after a Thursday holiday, or those random days between Christmas and New Year's that just feel like they should be days off.
For so many of us, taking these bridge days off just seems like a given, right? It's almost a tradition to just connect the dots and make a nice long weekend. But this brings up a really important question. Is that actually our right, or is it just something we've gotten used to?
The answer is nope. There is absolutely no automatic legal right to take a bridge day off. It's not an entitlement at all. Whether you get that day off depends completely on your company's policy or a specific deal you make with your employer. So, how can you actually lock in those bridge days? Well, there are basically 3 ways it can happen. First, your employer can just declare it a company-wide holiday. Easy. Second, you might have an agreement to make up the time by working a bit longer on other days. And the third and most common way is you have to put in a formal request to use one of your personal vacation days. Okay, so after all of these, it depends and check your contract answers, let's talk about one specific, guaranteed right that you have, even if you are scheduled to work on what is a holiday for many people. Now this one is really important. According to Swiss labor law, even if you have to work on a holiday, your employer is required to give you the necessary time off to attend religious services as long as you ask for it. But let's get into the details a bit. The key phrase in the law is that time must be given if possible. This means an employer can say no if letting people go would seriously mess with business operations.
But here's what's really crucial. This right applies to the services of all religions, not just Christian ones. It's a pretty fundamental protection for everyone.
So there you have it. We've untangled this web of federal versus cantonal law, tradition versus reality, and we've learned that what we've always done isn't always what the law says. Which leaves us with one last, really important question for you to think about. Now that you know the baseline legal rules, what does your own employment contract actually say? Because at the end of the day, that's where your real holiday rights are spelled out.